is Faith Marina, and you're watching Artist IRL.
It's so hard to say goodbye. You know I look nothing like the other girls you were fucking.
Hello and welcome to Artist IRL. My name is Davey Ramirez, and today is a very special episode of the show. Not only because it's the first episode, and I'm very excited, as hopefully it's one of many to come. But also, I have the pleasure of introducing y'all to a great singer from the Central Valley, and my best friend as well. Introducing to the show, I have Faith Marina. Faith, how you doing?
I'm doing really good.
That's good.
Yeah, the first show.
I'm excited because we wanted to do this for like a cool minute. I think we brought it up back in like fucking April or something.
Yeah.
And then like I was about to ask you if I could cuss. Like for some reason.
Right. Can
I swear on my show? Asking for permission. No, we wanted to do it for like a fat minute, and I think me and Ben brought it up back in April. Like you did a show at Tioga. It was for Women's Day actually, so it was actually back in March.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember we brought it up the idea, and we always knew that you were going to be the first guest for
mix
this.
of like 2000s and some originals. So
yeah, there it is.
Oh.
That's funny.
No, that's really funny. Hearing your own voice, I'm like,
Yeah. No, it's funny because I think when we first pitched the show, we didn't know what it was going to be. And so now it feels more like, oh, cool, we're going to sit down with an artist. We're going to yap for like an hour. And we do that all the time.
Right.
Anyway, so
Right.
I feel like this interview is going to be like funny because it's going to be very informal, where I feel like any artist after this, I'm going to be like, okay, so here are my questions. And we're, very formal. We're trying to get to know them. And I'm like, I know you like the back of my hand.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, but we're going to shoot the shit for like an hour. Okay. But first, how are you doing?
how am I doing?
How are you doing? How's your day?
My day has been long. I did an impromptu trip with my mom yesterday to LA, and then we came back like at 1 something in the morning, and then I had work this morning.
No, it's so funny
So,
because
yeah.
I was up because I was like, okay, did you get back? And you got back like at 2, and then I remember you were like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. I have work tomorrow, and I was like, okay, we'll see how
And I thugged it out, and I showed up to work on time. Because one thing about me, I don't play about a bag. I do not. Right. I clock in.
Right.
Right.
I'll be poor, but I'll never be broke.
Right. That's bars right there.
Right.
That's poetic.
Put that in a song.
Right. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Yeah. So I want to start with some of the early stuff because these are actually questions I want to know because I don't have this information.
Oh.
So, we talked a little bit before, obviously, about how you got started with music, but can you share a little bit about like when you first got started? Like you were singing from like an early age.
Yeah. Well, informally, I feel like I've always like sang, like since I could remember. I feel like I was really inspired by my aunt who, she lived in New York, so like she, kind of would do like, was really familiar with like Broadway productions. She used to do like theater like in high school too. So she would kind of like, always be like singing around me and everything. And so I feel like some of like my earliest memories like regarding like music and like surrounding music has been like singing in the car with like my mom and like, my aunt and everything. And I also would do it like all the time to where like I grew up a lot, like with like my grandparents, and I spent a lot of time with like my grandparents. So I just remember like fucking taking off all of the couch cushions and making my own like little stage in the living room, and I would put on like the little like Selena album or Shakira album, or like I loved like Shania Twain too at the time because like my mom had that CD. But any of like my mom's little CDs, I would like play something on and be like, okay, I'm gonna perform right now, and you guys are gonna watch.
Right.
That's just what I remember.
Sitting all your family down.
No, literally.
Stuffed animals and stuff.
Literally, the stuffed animals, everyone. I said, hear ye, hear ye.
Were you actually singing along, or were you like lip syncing?
No, I was singing along.
Yeah, singing over the music actually.
Yeah.
Like you're here to hear me.
Right, exactly. I said, I don't have a mic yet. That's not in the budget.
Right.
So, yeah.
You're like, that's just a backup.
Right, exactly. They're supporting me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny because you told me that your mom is not musical.
No.
Yeah.
No, she loves to call herself a J-Lo impersonator when she does karaoke because she was like, I sing so bad, I sound like J-Lo.
That's funny as fuck. Your mom's one of the funniest people I think I've met. Because you're I will save that actually. I was gonna overshare.
Okay.
But I remember your mom was talking to me about like you and your music, and I remember you told me this, but your mom actually told me this when I met her. And she was like, "Oh yeah, like all of you and your siblings, like you all play instruments in some way."
Yeah.
So she's like, she's not musically talented at all,
Yeah.
but she's like created like 4 musically talented
Right.
children.
Yeah.
So you sing primarily, but you also play piano.
Yeah.
Do you play any other instruments?
No.
So just singing and piano.
Unfortunately, I tried guitar, but I could not get it at all. It's like it's really hard for me. It's hard, right? It's very hard. So like the people who, I see doing it, power to, because I can't do it. No.
Your brother plays guitar.
Yeah, my brother plays guitar. My other brother plays the piano, and then another brother plays like a little bit guitar and the piano as well. Yeah.
That's so funny because I remember you telling me about like early on when you were learning or not learning to sing, but like you were singing a lot more. You would make YouTube videos about it. You were so like in it because I think it's so interesting because like and when we were like 5 or 6 in your case, YouTube had just like happened, and so like that was a new way for musicians to like do their thing. Where it was probably like MySpace before that.
Yeah.
Like putting stuff on like LimeWire, but YouTube was pretty new, and you took advantage of that in some way, right? And I love this story because I actually got to meet this cousin at like a family event you took me to. But can you tell us a little bit about that YouTube channel and what that show was about?
Yeah. So like in middle school, because I want to say because I had multiple YouTube channels. I was, I had my different,
Are some of them still up?
I don't think so.
Well, they probably got taken down.
Right.
The one I'm asking about. Probably
right. The one that, you're asking about probably. But the one that you're referring to. So me and my cousin had this like joint like YouTube account. Half of the videos involved her recording her fights at school. And then half are me singing. And, like, of course, like, I, very much, I've always gravitated towards, like, the most, like melancholic, like, kind of, like, sounding stuff. So it'd be just me, like, emo side part, like, and then you just see, like, my cousin
just
fighting.
beating the fuck
No, literally.
out of somebody. It was so funny meeting her, too, because, like, that image just, like, suddenly appeared in my head. But I think what's crazy is the fact that she had enough opportunities to record multiple fight videos. Like they hadn't expelled her at that point.
No, they didn't.
At
they
what
didn't.
point? Did she start the fights? She had to have, right? Like if you bring a camera ready to record, you kind of had to.
Yeah, probably.
That's crazy. She never got in trouble for that? I imagine she did.
No, I think she did. I think suspended or something like that.
Yeah, at what point did they get that menace out of there? She's funny as fuck too, though. I remember because she was like, we're gonna go to that party, and you had a performance that night.
Yeah.
So we were gonna go pretty late. Like we got there at like 1 in the morning, 12:30, 1 in the morning, around that.
Yeah.
And she just kept texting you like, do I keep the DJ? Do I keep the DJ?
No,
Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to dance.
No, she literally told me, she was like, do I pay the DJ another hour? I want to twerk.
Right.
And I was like, okay, girl, yeah, we're on our way right now.
Which is so funny because regardless if you're there or not, I'm like, you can still do that.
I think she just wanted the emotional support,
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
I get it, I get it.
Yeah. That's so funny. No, I think that YouTube channel is amazing. Hopefully, please tell me like if you can find it.
Okay,
any of
if I
those
find
videos,
it,
please
yeah.
fucking send them to me.
Yes.
Do you have any of your YouTube stuff still up?
I want to say I think I do. My mom has like her own YouTube channel and like it's like it's like different like stuff like of like all of her kids and stuff like that. But there's a lot of my performances that she's captured of me like being young, like throughout like kind of like the years.
Yeah.
Like different things that yeah. So that's the real archives right there. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
pop up on like a fucking like a Stan account one day. Like the leaked video that got brought up, like it's gonna be your name in like 2007.
No, I know. That's what I just like I think of. I'm like, oh my God, those embarrassing videos that I've made. Like, cause I'd always like make them like in the bathroom too. I'd be like, the acoustics in here sound great. Let me do my thing. Let me see.
Yeah, you're doing like the ear thing with no monitor.
Yeah, literally no monitor.
Yeah.
No monitor.
Mm.
No.
No, it's like the equivalent of a kid like who wants to do video doing fucking like this, looking at their shot. I remember as a kid, I would do shit like that. I didn't know what the fuck framing was. I was just doing that because I thought I was supposed to.
Yeah.
I got like my dad's camera and I was just like fucking looking around at shit.
That's really
Yeah, I think that's the equivalent of the fucking ear monitor.
It is. Yeah.
For sure. No, it's so funny. So when you were making those videos, like doing your singing videos, as an intermission to those fights, the halftime shows,
Right.
you were singing, I imagine, a lot of your influences now, unless there were more. But you told me that your core four were Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, and Whitney Houston. So I kind of want to go down the line.
Yeah.
And I kind of want you to tell me like why, you're so like what about these artists really drew you? So I've never heard you bring up anyone more than Beyonce. So I want to know where that started.
Right. Honestly, it started like since. Oh my God! Stop.
Like there
I
she
was
is.
there. I went to the concert.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, was that one?
Yes, right. That exact one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can hear me in the background screaming.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So it started like since like I was like really little, because like, I grew up listening to like a lot of like my mom's music, and like she influenced me a lot like musically. And so like I found out about Beyonce like through Destiny's Child, of course.
Right.
And so like seeing them, I'm like, yeah, like I'm a survivor, or like, yeah, like all the little songs. And yeah, I think I was just always like just drawn to her music, and I've just in general I've always been drawn to non-male artists, non-cis male artists. I think I just always love supporting, yeah. So but yeah, I think I'm all about like women empowerment, all that stuff. So I think just like she kind of like embodies that. And especially as like a woman of color, I think that's like so, important as well, that she's like such a huge like icon, and she's is, just very, not only has like just that stage presence and just is able to be like such a great performer, but I think also like vocally, like, you like see people trying to like do her stuff or like do covers, even when I myself like try to do her covers, there are some things that like people just have to adjust, because like no one can really do it quite like her, and I also think just too as well, she's a really like just like a cool like visionary when it comes to like her worlds, that she creates like with her art. So I think that's just like very cool as well. But yeah, it started like since I was little, and yeah, I would just listen to my mom play her music a lot, and I've been a Beehive, I've been Beehive since then, since I was young. So seeing her in concert, yeah, that shit was everything to me.
I wanted to ask about that because I think beyond the music, from what I know about you, you love Beyonce to like more than just like a fan. Like I feel like I've seen you on. I'm gonna air you. Sorry, I'm gonna like.
No!
I'm gonna air out your laundry real quick. I've seen you on the fucking like Beyonce subreddits. Like
I'm like me literally like knowing, I'm like, where's her merch, or this specific merch is dropping? No, I'm literally like, I'm such a stan. I'm a stan. I won't lie.
I remember sometimes I've asked you like important conversations about like trips and stuff that we're taking, and I'm like, hey, do you have this information? I need it for X, Y, and Z, and then you'll skip that, and you're like, the new Beyonce merch just dropped. So where has that always been the case for you? Has that always been like you always been just a diehard? Or was it one moment where you're like, this is the GOAT?
I I feel like what really like I've always been a very big fan, but I think what really like solidified, it I think was the her Lemonade era, like that really like
Mm-hmm.
is when I became like a big like super fan, because I think that's when she really and I think I admire this like a lot about, artists who do this, but I think that's when she really started to take risk with her music and was more she started world building during that era. And
Mm-hmm.
I think she became, like, yes, we saw her, like, her being meticulous with her performance before, but I think she really, like, delved into, like, her actual, like, art more
Mm-hmm.
beginning with that era. And I think, like, she created. I think I'm really drawn to like artists who create just like, vulnerable like pieces of work and, that really let us into their inner world. Because before I could really appreciate like Beyonce and, and I think a lot of people kind of have this like perception of her like, oh my gosh, like perfect performer, like perfect vocalist. But I think, when you have art, with I'm not saying this in like in a pretentious way of like, oh my God, because of course I love a good little like silly dance. I love a good little, kind of ass shaking like song, whatever. But like
Right.
when art that has like, I feel like her work had a lot more depth to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm very much drawn to that. That's when I became like a really big like fan. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a huge attention to detail that I've noticed, like when you
Yes.
show me clips and stuff, of just like the amount of time it would have taken to plan all of this feels insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me it does look like she like had a part in like all of these meticulous like everything on the stage moves at a very specific part, and you can tell like she had part in that, and that sounds insane to
Mm-hmm.
me. Like to be able, it sounds like easier to just hand that off to somebody, but
Yeah.
you can tell like if they did that, it wouldn't be what you're seeing on stage or even like
Uh-huh.
in the music. I don't know. I get that. No, I think attention to detail is like what draws me in. Like I love textured music.
Yeah,
Like I've shown you albums
exactly.
that I like, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
really like there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Yes, I feel like that's really solidified it for me. Yeah.
Mm.
Especially I think too like the the research that has been done, I think especially like you see that in like in her more recent like bodies of work, like Renaissance and like Cowboy Carter, just kind of really going into the history of, how these genres that we see today, how they were really created and, her reclaiming that art and very much like giving us like a history lesson on these genres. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I know we'll bring up Beyonce later on, I'm sure.
Right.
Um,
You said good enough.
but I want to talk about the next three that you mentioned.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Mariah Carey also is someone that you
Uh-huh.
like told me is like, oh yeah, they're my one of my
Yeah.
four. Where does that admiration for her come from?
My mom for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I grew up just like with my mom listening to her and I think I was just very she's also people very underrated like songwriter and I feel like people don't really like listen to like her lyrics but like listen to her lyrics and that's a whole vocabulary lesson right there in itself. Like it's just so like My All, one of like my favorite songs of hers
Mm-hmm.
like it's just very much like very poetic like and I also think too just vocally like she's insane like the range that she has is just so insane and I think it's something um just so inspiring, for me. I feel like yeah, I also too I'm just like a big like 90s 2000s like fan when it comes to honestly music like, style whatever like yeah, so I think it's a very, you know, Mariah's like very sentimental for me because I just think of like my mom and like growing up like really
Yeah,
listening to like her music.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. I think Mariah Carey is a very interesting character because I think people write her off as the Christmas woman. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I think it's
yes.
unfortunate that she has that much of a banger of a
Yeah.
Christmas song, which I don't know. To me, I feel like I've because of that song got so big, I've grown to hate it. But like,
I can see that.
but it
Yeah.
really undermines like the rest of that
Yeah.
discography.
Yeah.
Because like every time I hear Mariah Carey brought up, I hear because of Christmas or Eminem. There's only two times that I hear Mariah Carey brought up really on the internet anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it really is a shame because like even this clip when I was rewatching it for to like have it,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much of like a performer Mariah Carey really was or is
Mm-hmm.
still.
Yeah.
She's very much alive. Uh,
Yeah. Right, right, right,
right,
right,
right,
right.
right.
No, my favorite is the clip, and I always talk about it. I always reference it. And I remember I showed it to you because you did not know what I was talking about. You were like, "What are you saying?"
Oh, is it the 9/11 one?
Yeah. You don't want to hear about 9/11.
Why'd she say that?
I don't know.
I think about that a lot.
But it's my favorite thing ever because you can literally hear the crowd going like, "What?" Like just the confusion.
Well, you don't want to hear about 9/11.
That's so fun. I'm gonna play that clip in the middle of
You
that.
need to play.
Yeah, no, because if you haven't seen that clip, you showed me that because I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about,
Yeah.
and then you showed me, and I thought about it for like 3 days because I was like, why did they say that?
So funny.
No, it is really funny. I think I think it's so funny when being like that huge of a performer,
Mm-hmm.
shit like that is always gonna cement itself as like a meme now.
Yeah.
Like, because you have that, you have Beyonce stimming at the Grammys.
Yes.
You have when her name gets called, you have that confused look on her face. Like, I feel like with that much of a magnifying glass, with that much of a history, like it's like you're bound to do shit like that constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when like the public eye is on you that much, you're gonna say something crazy like that 9/11 shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But moving on from Mariah Carey a little bit because for the sake of time, Ariana Grande is someone you also referenced on there, and we talked about Ariana Grande a lot when we first met.
Yeah.
Because we both agreed that Positions was the best record.
I love that album. It's literally my favorite thing.
But what was it from you? You were a big fan of Victorious, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? I've been a fan of Ariana since she made like YouTube videos. And she would like make covers and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I love her voice," and then seeing her like on Victoria, so I was like, "Oh my gosh," and then also too, I know she came to I wish I would have gone, but I know she came to like the Fresno Fair or whatever.
Yeah.
Too.
That was a deep
back
bag
in
pull.
her-
I actually didn't know she made YouTube videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, she used to make YouTube videos. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know ball. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a big stan.
You said that's gonna be me.
Right, that's gonna be me. But yeah, I feel like honestly, like Ariana and Beyonce, like I'm very much like super stans. I love her music. And I think she's another, artist like Mariah. I feel like where kind of people just write them off, like they just know they're like popular stuff, So I feel like
Yeah.
they don't like take them seriously, like as as artists, as like songwriters, and everything. But I feel like, like Positions is probably like my favorite album, but then like my next one is Eternal Sunshine. And I think honestly because of for both of those bodies of work, I feel like the songwriting is what, I really love, and like also like the world building in both of those albums as well. Like sonically it's just like so cohesive. And I think that's something I feel like both of those albums, like I really loved. And I love lyrical vulnerability, and I think that's something people often like look over, they don't think about that. Like
Yeah.
when they hear like Ariana Grande, they just think of like, the music that people, just whatever was like super popular. Like, but yeah, I feel like she's an artist that has a lot more depth, and I also really love her Broadway background, and I think that's like really cool. But yeah, she's my go. I've seen her in concert as well, and I'm ready for her to do her little mini tour that she's saying that she's gonna do,
Right.
and I want to be there.
Right.
Right.
No, it's so funny. With like Beyonce too. I remember you were like, I can't wait for Beyonce's next tour. You're like, and you already like, I'm gonna buy us both tickets because you have to go.
Right.
I think it's so funny. And now that I know like your friends in the area, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh yeah, okay, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um, but lastly, I have here Whitney Houston is the last
Hmm.
person that you at least for like your top four.
Uh-huh.
Tell me a little bit about that influence.
Yeah. Again, it's I was introduced to her through my mom. My mom like loved listening to her. Um, and so I just like grew up, with a lot of like my mom played a lot of like 90s, like especially like female artists, like she was always playing that. So I think that honestly like it just had like a really big impact on like my sound as an artist and kind of what I love to embody and everything. But I absolutely like she's just like one of like the greatest. Like her vocal technique is just like insane. And yeah, there's just like there really isn't a voice, like hers. And also too, like one of my favorite movies is The Bodyguard with her in it.
Yeah.
Because my aunt introduced me to it, and so I just remember like we'd always watch it. So yeah, I really love her technique. And I think yeah, just all of her music is just like a vocal technique lesson. And I'm really inspired by her belting technique, and I feel like I've, drawn a lot of inspiration like from her technique, while having that power, but also maintaining that like, pureness in a voice. So I very much draw a lot of inspiration from her.
That actually brings me like to my next question.
Mhm.
'Cause I do hear a lot of your influences in your work and
Mhm.
seeing you perform. But do you have any like traditional like training, or are you mainly self-taught?
I'm mainly self-taught. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I guess if you wanna, I grew up like doing like choir like when I was in school. So like since like elementary school, I was like signed up for that and everything. So in like that sense, like I was able to get, like some vocal training, and learn more like music theory and all that stuff. But it was like I want to say like my senior year in high school, um, that I took some lessons, and I low-key feel like they kind of just didn't do anything. I'll be so real. Like I just
Yeah.
think like, I felt like I wasn't like challenged. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Mm.
I think I wasn't challenged like trying to like when I was like a part of it. And yeah, I think that's kind of what it's yeah, I think it was just really hard to find um a vocal teacher. I think like in like locally
Yeah.
that is like well versed in the musical like style that I sing in.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, and I'm not like disregarding like classical training or anything like that, because of course, like, there are good things to kind of like build upon that foundation, and it's always good to, like know your shit and everything. But I think very much for like what I like do, I feel like YouTube has like helped me a lot, or just like really just like, kind of yeah, that's honestly been like the best thing. Like you're just listening honestly to like what some of my favorite like artists do vocally, and I'll just like listen like repeatedly, and I'm like, okay, like I'm just let me try it again. Let me do it again, kind of thing. And I feel like that's kind of been like my way of yeah, so a lot of my things I've just like have kind of like learned on my own, when it comes to like vocal health. I've like honestly just like I've researched it. I've learned a lot of things too, like from being in choir, more in the, realm of like vocal warm-ups and everything and kind of like that. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've learned has just kind of been on my own. And yeah, I learned a lot too from I did like one show,
Yeah.
like a theater production, my senior year of high school, and I did Hairspray, and I feel like that, taught me some things as well. Yeah.
Did you have like I'm just curious with this like idea makes me laugh in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have like a moment because I feel like from the jump, did your parents kind of like see you sing as a child and they were like, oh, they can already tell you have like a good voice?
Yeah.
So do you ever like did you go to like elementary school? Because at that point in time, anybody could sign up for fucking choir, right? I did. Like I can't sing for shit. I was in choir in fucking 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
And you were you like there with all the kids? You're like, these are some fucking frauds. Who the fuck is letting Deborah sing? You did, huh?
Okay, like inside, I like thought that,
I
you
know.
know? Right.
I know.
You said, I know you.
I knew the answer to that question.
I know you. But I will say I've never been one, and I hate these kind of people. And you know what? Call me crazy for this, but I'm gonna stand on business and say this. But literally 99% of the time, the people who like outwardly like brag and they're like, I can sing. Do you want me to sing for you right now? They can't sing.
I feel like that's valid because like I've always been in the opinion of like I feel like you should not hate your work. I feel like the way I do it is a little toxic because I hate everything I make.
Yeah.
But I never like bringing it up. I never like being the one to bring it up.
Yes.
That's how I kind of operate. Unless I'm talking to someone else who's like an artist and we can talk about our work. But I'm never going to go to like the grocery store or like in a group of people I've never met before and then be like, I made a short film.
Yeah, I honestly, I hate that so much. And I feel like the majority of like creatives like are like that, and I myself am like that to where I'm not like, let me bring it up and sing for you at every single waking moment, like I hate people like that. It's giving pyramid scheme, it's giving MLM, whatever the fuck, what the way that they're just like annoying and bugging like about it, like I was like, shut up.
Yeah, those type of people, I never like bringing it up. Because I'm not, it's not even necessarily that like you're ashamed to talk about it. Yeah. But it's also just like no one, like if they don't know, if they're not here for that, they don't care. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think too, like, because as an artist, like your art is like, it's, it's a part of you, so I don't know. It just feels like, I don't want to, I feel weird just kind of being like, hey, yeah, this is my art, go listen to it, You
also don't want to taint the way that like people in the world are like thinking of you, like not in like a media standpoint, but more from just like your neighbor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think like if I saw like, obviously I don't hold a grudge like this far back, but like in high school when like a theater person would like start singing in the middle of class, I'm not gonna like if they were like the next Ariana Grande, I wouldn't be like, I'm not gonna listen to them. They're annoying as fuck. But you don't want to risk that. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly.
I remember them. They were annoying as shit. Always bringing up the fact that they sing.
Right.
No, it's like a fine line you have to walk. But yeah, I remember when we started talking, I think like you had brought it up as like I asked like hobbies. And I remember it was funny because, like, after that, you would never bring it up unless I brought it up. And, like, I noticed that, too. Because I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because I feel like every, like, even in, like, people I meet in my day-to-day who, like, sing, they love to tell you.
Yeah, no, I just feel like, I don't know. And you can even tell in my social media, and I'll be the first person to admit, like, I suck at, like, social media, like, honestly.
My next question.
That's really funny. Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like I very much, like, I don't know. And I know people like will be like, you have to like post 20 million times a day and you have to do this and whatever. And I honestly, like, I think I'm just like so turned off by that. And I hate it so much. Like I hate just like hearing like, oh, the algorithm and oh, this is whatever, like whatever the fuck. And I think I'm just such a person that like I love authenticity and I never want to do things because I feel like I should, And I think that's kind of like, I don't know, me, like my attitude and like what, I don't know, like the hustle culture of like today, like just they do not mesh well. Like, people are like, you need to like do this more, you need to post this more. And I'm like, if I don't want to, I don't want to.
Yeah.
How about that? If I don't want to make an album every year, I don't want to. That's that.
Yeah, I honestly think yearly releases have hindered a lot of artists.
No,
Like,
and they
some people
have.
can pump them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have people back in the day who were pumping out album after album, and they were doing just fine.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Jackson, I am in the mindset of, like, maybe not all of his records are, like, the 10 out of 10s, but he's never made a bad record, in my opinion. And he was pumping them shits
No,
out.
he was. He was.
But I think, like, we were talking about this recently, because I was kind of having a struggle with the same thing. And we talked about, like, social media presence and, like, is my shit marketable, and, like, how do I get my eyes on it? And I remember talking about, like, I'd rather make, like, based off an interview that I saw, like, I'd rather make something really cool, and then, like, when it comes time to promote it, we can do the promotion stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to game the internet while I'm doing this, because it's only going to hinder the work, Because I'd rather make something cool that's going to be looked good, like, you can look fondly at it in, like, 10 years, rather than, like, an album that came out, like a one-hit wonder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like instead of like following trends or catering to because I know we all have seen like the TikTok of like, do you like so-and-so's music? And da-da-da-da, you'll love this song.
Did I just make this song in the summer?
Yes. Did I just make yeah, exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, get your bag, right? Like,
yeah, and I totally get that. Get your bag. I understand, like, I don't know, this is unfortunately the way that the algorithm or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like for me, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. I don't want to do that. It feels just like just inauthentic to me, And I feel like people that I feel like in a, I don't know, maybe like branding way or in a way that they move in the industry, like a way that I feel like I would like to embody is like people like Sade and like Adele, to where like they make albums like they take years, to do it, or like they really like take their time, to simmer and like make bodies of work, So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. Speaking of bodies of work, so you are a part of two groups. So you're in a duo and you're in a band. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah. So I'm a part of an acoustic duo called Salome with Christian Visara. And we met through my friend Cynthia. And so I always like shout out to Cynthia for introducing us to each other. Because Christian is just like super musically talented. We just like very much like click musically. We have like the same vision and kind of like the same like sound and approach. And yeah, I was introduced to him when he was a part of like his own band. And then, they just kind of like fizzled out and everything. And then we just decided, to do our own thing. And honestly, like Salome came from just like people would never, whenever we did like gigs, like people would never use my name. They would either use like my government name or like would call us like Faith and Christian, And so we were just kind of like tired of it. And we're like, let's create like a name, and it's stuck ever since. Yeah.
That was a recent decision too, right?
Yes.
Like it's probably been about a month or two.
Yeah.
Very new. Do you feel like that decision, it obviously made sense to you. But was there like a time where you were like, oh, this is my solo stuff and like I'm partnered with this person? Or was it like, were you always like, well, yeah, we're probably just going to be as a duo?
Well, at first it was kind of like, this is my solo stuff and like I'm partnered, but it's like the way in which that we work behind the scenes, like there's a lot of like involvement with like Christian and like his vision as well, that I felt like it was like, almost like a disservice to not include him. You know what I mean? And so, but we were just trying to find a way to like not be cringe and be like Faith and Christian, or just like I just didn't want to like, oh, Faith Marina accompanied by Christian, or like, kind of like it was too long. It was too much of a mouthful. So I just feel like finding a name was just a lot better, because of course I always love to properly credit people. I always like want to you know, make sure that in whatever thing that I'm doing, you know, that they were all credited, you know, seen, heard, and everything. And I just felt like, you know, this was a collaborative, you know, thing that we were doing. And it wasn't just like all like my kind of thing, you know, like Christian, you know, also has like some ideas or some things that have been done, you know, in like my originals or, you know, stuff like that too, to where I feel like it just made sense to just become like a collaborative like thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like when I see you guys perform, it definitely fits like a pocket that I know that you really enjoy. It's like that acoustic kind of melancholic kind of delivery. And you've done covers of like different bands and artists. Like I think your rendition of Linger always sticks out to me because I really love that song.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you prefer working with others? Because I know, and we'll talk about ElevenFourty right now, but
Yeah.
do you feel like there's still a pocket for you to do like solo work? Like now that you're getting this kind of sound from a duo, it's like, well, what can you do on your own? Have you ever experimented with that, or are you still just kind of satisfied with the working in a group?
No, honestly, like I think I definitely want to like work more and explore more of my sound on my own as well. You know, because I think I'm someone who I love to do it all, and I love to, you know, just like challenge myself and explore like different, you know, avenues. Because sometimes I'm like, what if I just made like a rock album? What if I just made like a Charlie XCX like type of like, you know, fucking song, and just, you know, just for the fun of it, you know? And I think as an artist, I think that's like, you know, really important to me, is to just like have fun with it and to explore, you know, these like different sounds for sure. And I think honestly, like, you know, I know we're gonna like get to it, but you know, just even like working with ElevenFourty, I feel like I've learned a lot of like what I'm capable of like as an artist, you know, and just kind of being open to different sounds that I wouldn't have thought like I would have fit in before, and realize I'm like, oh, like, you know, this really clicks with me vocally, or, you know, like this makes sense,
Yeah.
you know, for me vocally. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting because, you know, seeing you perform with ElevenFourty in more of a band setting, but also the music is a lot more upbeat.
Yeah.
Which is definitely not a pocket that I was used to seeing from you. Do you feel like you prefer still that like kind of melancholic delivery, or are you finding that like through working with the band, you're like, oh, I like kind of more uplifting stuff? Like not necessarily that you're gonna, you know, only do like happy music, but like you're like, oh, but I can fit this pocket too.
Yeah, I think I love both, honestly, and I'm really enjoying doing more of the upbeat like music, just because I think I've challenged myself with it, for sure. And I think too, I think because it's allowed me like so much like as an artist to kind of like let go and feel the music and feel all of the instruments, because I feel like, you know, one, like I'm a perfectionist, and then two, like I feel like with the choir background, I'm very like, you know, just like, okay, like this single beat, you know, I'm very like meticulous, and I love to do things like, you know, as best as possible, that I think sometimes I can get very like in my head, you know, to where in like a performance I can be very in my head, and I'm like focusing too much on like, okay, I want to do this run perfectly, or I want to do this exact note, or I need, you know, trying to just, you know, planning in my head, like as the performance is happening, that I'm not really like living in the moment, or I'm like really being like present, you know. And I think working like with a band has very much allowed me to do more of that and to practice more of that for sure. And yeah, I think it's definitely, I've like learned like, oh, like, you know, I can do more upbeat songs like with my voice, you know, because I feel like sometimes I've like, you know, had that issue where I'm like, what upbeat kind of song like sounds good with my vocal type kind of thing, you know. And I think sometimes have like struggled with it, because I think like I have like, I don't know, just like a certain kind of voice that I was just like hard for me to like hear, you know, in kind of different styles than what I've done. But I think yeah, working with the band has definitely like helped me with that more. Yeah, and I've grown a lot.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like seeing you develop as an artist, it definitely does feel like night and day
Yeah.
from maybe a couple months ago. Like even like your stage presence does feel like a lot more improved just from being in like a different setting. So I think it's interesting like seeing the benefits of just changing up who you're performing with or where you're performing.
Yeah.
How did that connection with ElevenFourty start? Like it's fairly new. Like you've only done maybe like 5 shows with them at this point.
Yeah.
How did that begin?
Yeah. So it was through my friend Rosemary, who I used to work with on music, and we were part of like a music, kind of community together here in Fresno. And she like called me up because like she doesn't, live locally anymore. So she was like, hey, like I have like, like a friend, like I used to like be in this like band and I used to, do like vocals for them and stuff like that. They're looking for a lead singer, and they actually have this gig coming up, if you were interested in like doing this gig. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, like, yeah, like I've only done like the live band setting like once, but I still feel like that isn't like enough to like really fully know, the experience and everything. So I was like, oh, this would be like such a cool opportunity and like, something for me to like grow in and stuff. And so seeing, that opportunity, I was like, yeah, cool. Like, let me do it, and yeah, so that's how I came upon the opportunity. And, it's been really fun. Yeah. And I feel like I've learned a lot about myself and I've like proven to myself like what I'm capable of. And, yeah, I think that's just kind of what I've learned a lot this year musically.
So we've been talking a lot about, good performance, and I kind of want to finish up with maybe a few more questions about like your career. But on the topic of performance, I really did want to bring up, you told me a story about a performance that stuck out to you for being like particularly not great. And I think it's a really funny story, so I'd like to share it.
I'm like, I just want you to know that shit kept me up at night for a bit.
Right.
When it first happened. So I was hired to do like 3 songs at a wedding. And mid-performance for one of the songs, I forgot the words. And I was just like trying to like mask it with like doing like my like like my runs, whatever.
You told me the song. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it feeling like kind of funny that it was a choice for a wedding. Yeah,
it was an interesting choice.
What song was it?
I'm Every Woman.
That's
it
really
was
funny.
Whitney Houston's version, so I was like, yeah, Whitney, my goat. But I forgot like the lyrics in the middle of it, and I was just more like trying to do like ad libs and just like trying to like go around and like engage the crowd and everything. And so yeah, it just did not pan out well. Like I went up to like the couple and like they were not feeling it, they were not having it, and I was like, oh.
I just love the idea because that song particularly, I feel like I forget the words right after the chorus.
Yeah.
And then like, but that's just such a strange choice for a wedding.
It is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't think it's like bad. I just think it's like weird.
Yeah, I just feel more so bad because I'm like, that's like their big day.
Right.
And they're a lesbian couple too.
You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah, I fucked up. I feel bad. I'm like, damn.
That's crazy.
I feel genuinely bad. I'm like, where's my camera?
Right. You can give a formal apology.
No, because
now.
Literally, I'm like, I don't know which one's my camera.
Yeah, you can give just like.
But formal apology, I will deadass do that shit again for free. You guys renew your vows, I'll do that shit for free. I'll redo the 3 songs.
She'll drop a 4th one.
I'll drop a fourth one because I deadass feel so bad about it. That shit kept me up at night for a bit. I mean, so for real. Like,
no, it's fun. You have a chance to make it up though, because our friend Jazz wants you to sing Chaperone.
Yes, and I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm so excited.
So I'm excited for that. No, it's funny. They walked up to me and they were like, "Can Faith sing at my wedding?" And I was like, "I don't know. Ask them." I was like, I'm not their
So
manager,
funny.
bro.
Stop. Maybe this will like cancel out like my wedding karma.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
like PEMDAS, it'll cancel it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I will make sure to eat down.
For jazz.
Yeah, for jazz.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll love that.
Right.
So I want to finish up this interview by talking a little bit about your creative process right now, and where you see your career. Because like you've mentioned that you really enjoy working in the group space, but developmentally as an artist, do you see yourself being more of a solo act in the future? Like the influences that you named were all solo artists, but a lot of them started off that's not the case. Like Beyonce, Ariana was technically a solo artist from the jump, but she got her career by like different means, like acting
Yeah.
and working with other people. But do you see yourself eventually transitioning into like you're a solo act and you're putting out these albums? I guess what is your ideal project or like your dream project?
Yeah, I think for sure I see myself being a solo act in the future. I think because ultimately, like, I want to have my own sound, and I do love to make all like the decisions, of course, like it's my art, and everything. So like, but yeah, I think for sure that is what, the end goal is to be like a solo artist, and of course, like, present that, but I always want to be someone who like collaborates and always like uplifts other artists and always I think like give opportunities too to like people that I worked with, previously, like before, like, I never want to be that bitch that like, oh, when you make it big, you don't know. I'm like, no, we're all eating good, okay? I'm like, you're gonna be shooting my music videos, you're gonna be directing whatever. I'm like,
Right.
we're getting everyone's getting a job. Everyone's getting a job, okay? I'm like, production, you're getting a job too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking you guys with me. Yeah. So yeah. But, I never want to like forget like where the people that have helped
Right.
me and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's always important. I think what I'm interested in as well is just like, do you have, because I know when we met, I think it was like our first date or something, and we were talking about like dream projects, right? And I think at the time, it's funnily enough, it's when I told you about my short film, Emily, that hadn't even started yet.
Yes.
But we were talking a little bit about like, oh, if I had the budget, I would make this. Like, do you still
Yeah.
have in mind, like, this is my dream? Like obviously an album, right? As a musician, but like, what is like the context of that record that you want to make?
I feel like for sure, my dream record, and I feel like and hopefully the viewers will understand this reference. But of course, I will make this, this will be my lemonade. You know what I mean? Like, this will be I have to make my Sasha Fierce's first before I get to my lemonade. And so, I feel like, once I would really want to take my time on this project, but I would really love, to create an album, and I'm inspired by the framework of it. I'm inspired by like, like SZA's like Control, and like also to like Jasmine Sullivan's like Hoa Tales. I love I feel like something structured in that sense of having, excerpts from different like people's like conversations, like, I think people that are close to me and important to me, especially like the women in my life. I want to create an album that kind of just like reflects, that, and is, honoring and like celebrating and like really like just sharing like the experiences of like myself and like, the women in my life around me, and something that also encompasses and honors, my Mexican like, heritage and everything. And so I feel like doing something like, to fuse like, having like kind of like an influence like that would be really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because, I feel like also too, like, even though, like, they're not people that I listen to, like, every single day, but I do, like, listen to them still, and, like, they were people that I grew up listening to, a lot, and I would say, like, for sure have, like, musical influence, on my stuff, like, Selena, like, Juan Gabriel, like, I grew up listening to a lot of, like, more, like, like Spanish like ballad singers, so I feel like for sure like incorporating that into an album would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to see where your career goes going forward, whether it's with the band or with your solo stuff. Because, yeah, I know based off our conversations, you have a lot of ideas, and we always throw ideas at each other. So I think it'd be cool to like finally see, you know, at least that next project and see how that builds off of this next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited about to see how that goes. Well, I appreciate you being here on the show, this being the first
Thank
episode.
you for having me.
Of course, yeah, the first guest was always going to be you. And so I really appreciate it. Because, yeah, I don't know, this is fun, and I hope the show continues, and we can eventually bring you on again and get those updates. No, it's fine. I have one funny story, and I actually might have to cut this.
Okay.
Because we were talking about like a situation that we were talking about with like a cheating story that we had heard.
Yeah.
And then just everything we talked about, and you were like, if you did that shit to me, I'd be in my Lemonade era. And I was like, if you did that shit to me, I'd kill myself. Fuck the art. I'd fucking kill myself. Sorry, you reminded me when you said
No, that's
that
really
earlier.
funny.
Yeah.
And I would.
And I would. But anyway, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. We have production has a gift for us.
I think you need full permission to do stuff like this. So, go ahead to the video.
Okay. Stop, not me overdressing. I thought I ate down in that little fucking Ross like dress. That was me when I was 15.
Why do you look taller?
I don't know. Right.
No, I'm so dead ass.
Well, I was wearing heels, I think.
Oh, okay.
See, I was extra. I would be in my little dress and my heels.
Where did they find this?
Probably my mom's YouTube.
That's crazy.
That's really funny too.
That is really funny.
And it's a Beyonce song.
Right, because of course you do.
Right.
Yeah. This actually reminds me of one bonus question I'm going to ask right after we finish watching this together.
And you can ask my mom, and she'll sometimes randomly play this for herself. She'll be like, I love the way you sing. She's my biggest fan.
What's the context of this? Where are you at?
It was for a choir performance, so it was like, so every year they had like it was around like Valentine's Day or something, and it was like a night of like love songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I signed up to do it, and that's what I chose.
Real.
And it's one of my favorite Beyonce songs.
You know there's some
Still.
kids out there picking Sabrina Carpenter right now, not knowing the context.
I know.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of another question before we head out, and I technically have two.
Mm-hmm.
Central Valley Fashion Week. I want to give them a shout out because that's where we met, and also I just like what they do. How did that connection come about, and can you tell everybody a little bit about what that project is?
Oh, yeah. So Central Valley Fashion Week, shout out Andrea, also known as Miss Limon V. So it used to be known as Zest Fest, and it was basically like a fashion week, but, for, the Central Valley area. And I know, before it was known as Zest Fest. And I think, to really kind of, I guess, bring more, kind of a professional, I guess, feel, or just something that would make it more known, I guess, or have, a better ring to it. I know Andrea, changed the name. And yeah, I've been performing there for the last 3 years. Recently it's been at Frank's place. But before it was at Andrea's and Cordova's studio that they had together in Chinatown. And so yeah, I've been doing that for a bit, and it's always my favorite event to do because I feel it's just a space where I just mesh well, so yeah, I always look forward to doing it. And I know Andrea because Andrea was a vendor at my mom's event that she does, because my mom hosts a drag event. She didn't do it this year, but she hosts it yearly locally here in Fresno. So yeah, that's how I met Andrea. And yeah, shout out Andrea. for
shout out and Trey.
hosting Central Valley, and now we're reconnected.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I also just fuck with what they do.
Yes, I love it. It's such a cool like platform, to really just uplift local, designers, local artists, and I'll always ride for Central Valley Fashion Week.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we actually have 2 performances, the last 2 of Central Valley Fashion Week performances that you've done. So maybe I'll play those throughout, maybe at intermission or something. But yeah, before we go, would you like to shout out your socials and where can people find some of your music?
Yeah. I like my camera.
Talk down the barrel.
This right. So you can find me on social media under at I am Faith Marina. You can also find me on YouTube. Look up Faith Soto and you can probably find like my crazy like YouTube videos that we discussed here. And I also have music under Faith Marina on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I even think Tidal and Amazon Music. Yeah, and I'm currently working on some new music that I'm so excited to put out. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. Period.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching Artist IRL. This has been a lot of fun. And again, thank you, Faith, for being here. If you want to catch more of the videos when they come out, subscribe to the channel below. Go to our website, setlistmedia.com, because we have some other cool stuff on that website. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been put up yet, but I'm sure that they're on it right now. And thanks to everybody in the control room helping us out. Shout out Ben, Alexa, and Wyatt in the control room. And again, thank you to Faith. Go follow them and follow us on socials. Thanks, everybody. You have a good night.